Hey, what's up, guys? Tolbert here. I didn't really feel like being on camera today, so it's just going to be the screen. Um, so I did go into school today. I was hoping to lesson in there, but they only let me in for 90 minutes, and I spent that entire 90 minutes cleaning and getting everything together and ready for summer cleaning and everything else. It was really weird. I was the only teacher that I saw. It was really weird. But gosh, do I miss it and miss hanging out with you guys and everything else. But here we are. We've got, including Wednesday, we've got 2 plus 4 is 6 plus 3 is 9 days left, including Wednesday, of actually getting new stuff in. So that's pretty exciting. And we got a pretty easy day today. We got to finish the war, and then we got a study guide for you guys to work on. I'll go ahead and show you the study guide. Of course, it's going to make me sign in, even though I've been in this for the last I don't know how long. Fun. Go away. That's where you guys turn it in. All right. So the study guide, short and sweet. Um, Only 14 terms on there. Um, I'm cool with you only doing part one. I'm cool with you guys not doing part two. And for those of you who are having a hard time finding this, if you know, then you know, and if you don't know, then you don't know. Um, Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Tuesday. That's my hints. I think it was Tuesday. No, it was Monday. Monday. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Monday. All right. So let's finish up these notes and we'll be done with World War II. So we've already talked about dropping the atomic bomb and the dangers of that. We talked about the Holocaust. We talked about basically the it is, there's no basic about it, the largest war in the history of the world. 60 nations on 3 continents, but you can actually argue that it was on 5 continents. The three that they're talking about is Africa, Europe, and Asia. But really, if you count the attack at Pearl Harbor, that's North America. And if you count, there was some fighting on Australia, the oceanic continent, so that makes five, meaning the only places where fighting did not happen at all was South America and Antarctica. But all in all, we see some big changes in warfare. Total war, civilians, everybody participated. This is Rosie the Riveter, women going and getting jobs in factories, men that couldn't go and fight in the war worked on the war effort at home. People bought war bonds, which is loaning money to the government. Um, Everybody sacrificed. Food was rationed, cars were rationed, tires were rationed, and so people just had to deal with what they had, and everybody was completely cool with that because they were in on the war. The technology, lots and lots and lots of new stuff came out, but this is all stuff that we still use today, such as radar, finding where people are, or enemy aircraft is, guided missiles. Um, I know my soon-to-be brother-in-law, my sister's fiance, he works in the military, and he can't give all the specifics about the missiles and rockets and things that he specifically works with. But what I've gathered is that I know it's at least 200 miles away. So that would be much, basically that's the distance from here to Charlotte and back, plus some. If you have a location, you can fire a missile and it will land in a space the size of like our classroom in school and hit it 10 times out of 10. Perfect shot. Jets come out, atomic bombs, and then new medicines. The big ones being penicillin. We're using morphine in combat to help deal with pain. A lot of people that were going to die, they would give them morphine to ease their suffering as they passed away and everything else. Pretty sad. But all in all, good to have on the battlefield. Airplanes became essential to warfare. We've got soldiers that jump out of airplanes. We use airplanes for reconnaissance. We use airplanes to take uh, items to one place and from one place. You can carry military vehicles, so on and so forth. All very, very, very important. Um, Ultimately, the results of the war, there is no World War III like there was a World War II after World War One. So we did settle some things. Basically, we got rid of most colonialism, and then that definitely is gone by the time we get to the Vietnam War, which we'll be covering next, goodness, Wednesday and Thursday. Um, the Soviet Union gets to take over some land they didn't get screwed over like they did at the end of World War One. Probably the most important thing, and this is still around today, is the United Nations. This is basically the League of Nations 2.0. Remember back in World War One, we made it, and it failed because one country didn't join it. That one country being the United States. But with the United Nations, everybody joined, and it still exists today. It's a place where we can sit down and talk about what we can do to help people out. And the United Nations has been meeting over COVID-19 and what we can do worldwide to ensure that every country is taken care of with its sick people as that number is going up and up and up. Number four, Germany gets divided into two, a communist east and a democratic west. That makes a lot of, and I'll go on to this picture here. It makes it pretty tricky for the Cold War. Basically, where this line right here is where they split into East and West. West was way bigger, especially when you consider that England, France, and the United States all are democratic countries. So everything in the blue, yellow, and green are all supporting democracy over here. While this is the Soviet Union, they have control over East Germany, and East Germany becomes a communist country. Now, there is some color right over here, and that because that's where the capital city of Berlin is. They even split the capital up. So you had communist Berlin, and then you had democratic Berlin, and that's where the Berlin Wall is going to come up. We'll talk about that next Tuesday, and the problems that that created for the Cold War. But ultimately, what we see here, guys, is it's a two-country race. England and France and Germany are pretty much destroyed from the war, both from the death toll and the loss of life. But also, you have to think that the war was fought there, and with all these new weapons, a lot of land is destroyed, farmland, places where you can build homes, so on and so forth, where the Soviet Union was fought on, but they're very, very big. And the United States, the only attack that we had was at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. So the mainland of the United States was pretty much kept as is. And so they emerge as the superpowers, the two big, huge countries, and that's going to continue into the 1980s. And probably the biggest and most important thing, and this was going back into yesterday's lesson, the beginning of the atomic age. Um, we live in it now, where people have nuclear weapons and they threaten to use them on one another on a fairly regular basis. All right. That's all the notes. We're done with World War II. You'll be able to get everything in your study guide except Second Death. But for those of you that know, you know. And for those of you that don't, I'm going to say the word Monday. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Um, if you need anything, guys, hit me up and remind. Hit me up in an email. We will have our Teams meetings as normal on Friday. Didn't have them today because I was in the classroom. Um, but I look forward to seeing you guys then, and I'll talk to you guys later.